Welcome to another edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port. And once again, it is the Barnes and Tony Show. Anthony, on this post-tailgate Monday, how are you doing today, sir?
I feel a little tired, dude. No. Dude, I'm feeling absolutely great. Had a phenomenal weekend with the company, phenomenal tailgate with the company. It was an absolute great time. Obviously, would have wished to have seen the Jets win the game. But it was still, we could recap the whole tailgate. It would be great. But obviously, yes, it would have been nice to have seen the Jets win. And I'm curious, obviously, to hear your take on seeing it firsthand as well, dude.
Unbelievable job. And it was just so nice. You know, we have, group chats and people commenting on this show, from the company, and, just to put faces to names, to get to meet everybody. And just in general, enjoyed meeting every single one of you guys. So proud to be a part of the company and just what you guys do, for us on a daily basis here during the week, commenting and engaging. We couldn't thank you guys anymore. You guys are the best. And as Tony would say,
you are our bloodline.
let's get to the comments.
Yeah, there's plenty of comments here for us to get to. So bear with us here as we have Kevdu, obviously first here on the scene of the crime, saying, let's go, dude. Mets and Yankees suck. They are eliminated. We want the smoke. What a tailgate, player position. Hashtag rep the company. Hashtag rep DTV. Thank you for joining us. You all rock. Kevdu was, pinnacle, honestly. Dude, the generator, now we know, too, to have God. That. It was sick, dude. Obviously, a great setup. They really, pulled out all the stops. Phenomenal job. Matthew coming in here saying, Kevdu, tough one for you Raiders, he said, bro. It was a tough one for the Raiders. We'll get into it, though. Danny V saying, yo. And then Kevdu saying, Matt, yeah, not as tough as those cowgirls. And Kevdu says, Bernie. Josh saying, morning fam. What a day at the tailgate. Let's go.
Let's
Hashtag rep the company, rep DTV, rep the sports port. Danny V says, let's go.
Let's go.
Great turnout yesterday. He said, even with the bad weather,
everybody shows up and shows out. Honestly.
Absolutely, dude. Clocked it in, lock in, baby. Let's go. Matthew Giebel says, yo, dude. He says, the cowgirls suck. Kev, dude. Hashtag tailgate lifestyle. Love that. Matthew, still going off about the Cowboys. They're total frauds. And Joshua says, Matty, what up, my guy? He says, fellas, the tailgate looked absolutely dope as fuck. I can't wait to keep doing these events together.
Let's go. Let's
Josh,
go. He's going to be there next
time. Dude, he is. He was in bio class right now going over the review for our first test Wednesday. Dude, big test coming up, dude.
Wednesday.
Dude, I was talking to Matt about the tests. The classic with the model, point out the organs and stuff like that. The genitalia, Brian. Oh, dude. And then Matt, ha. He says, hey, boys.
Hey, boys.
The Yankee kid from Game 3 against San Fran together to now. Who'd have thought, my guy?
Yeah.
Wow, dude. Lonnie says, let's go, guys.
Yanni.
Shout out to the company. Shout out to Downtime TV. So happy you guys made it out yesterday. What a day. The rain couldn't stop. A shout out to the company tailgate crew. Great crew. Hashtag rep the company.
100%.
And, Kip says hot take brought the generator. Oh, yeah. I had no idea.
Hot take Johnny. Obviously, great to meet him as
dude,
well.
Funny guy.
Daniel Jones, Lamar Jackson. That about sums it up. And then all the interviews that we got that everyone will see on the vlog. But Larry and Gordon. I mean, what was it like for you, Tony, to finally meet Larry and Gordon?
It was really. I mean, they were two great guys. Again, I had like I know, people take it personally, but it's just like, I mean, I never said they were not nice guys.
Right.
They seem like very nice people.
Yeah.
And obviously they have great voices for television. They work the interviews very well. But you did a great job interviewing both of them at the same time.
And
too.
I swear I thought I was on their show with them.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, they were giving you like some good takes, like analysis. It was great, dude. It was awesome.
They were great. And just like everybody else, you just felt like everybody else was regular people, like me, like you, like the company. Like they're all just part of it. They talk about it all the time. Dave even said it on the video. I think the company posted on Twitter, but just said it's the best collaboration in the world, best fan group. Like they love it. It's like you don't really see that appreciation out of like hosts on ESPN and stuff like, you know what I mean? It's like you always feel like they hold themselves in so much of a higher regard than you, but this is like the exact opposite. Like they want to engage with you. They enjoy it. So not only interviewing them, but Don was great with his son, Marco. Debbie Duhane.
Debbie was
finally
such a good sport,
Debbie
too.
Duhane. What a nice woman. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah.
She's really the best. And then meeting Ty Butler was great too. Hearing him all these years and him calling me out for my Yankee take, which we'll all see on the vlog. So definitely look out for that. Rick and Dave, got to interview both of them individually. That was amazing as well. It's just so funny. Like, we say it all the time, but just to see these guys, listen to these guys, you just don't really expect to come face to face with them and especially interview them. Just would have never thought that in my wildest dreams.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it is really sick. I mean, I interviewed everyone at the Beach Bash, and that, I mean, like, I experienced the same thing. Like, especially I interviewed Dave first, and that was like, feeling literally like my legs were like jello while standing. I couldn't feel my legs, dude. Interviewing him, it's dope to have this connection and to honestly like enhance it, like to like better the relationship every time we see them, because now like they recognize us. Ty was like, dude, great job with the vlog, like the whole video was sick. Like it's dope that they actually are seeing like our videos, enjoying them, and again like forming that relationship in tandem with the company too. I mean, it's huge. I mean, Lonnie was a huge help yesterday, like getting Alan Hahn and stuff, like facilitating some of the interviews, because obviously he's been around them more than us, so it was dope to again like have the company there, because like that just helps us.
Exactly.
It's
exactly.
Sick, dude,
It's such a great collaboration. We say it every day, and
every day.
Just I really just cannot wait for that vlog, and I feel like Michael is not going to sleep till that thing is done. Honestly, I think he's so hyped up. No. No, like, am I wrong? Like,
no, you're right, dude. You're right. You're absolutely right.
What else we got?
Again, Cowboys. Matthew on the Cowboys again, dude. Did something happen? Like what? Like why?
As Matthew would say, we'll talk outside about that one.
Okay, he goes, Cowboys for real. Suck ass. Total frauds. They beat up on probably two of the worst teams in the league, then lose to a team that might be the actual worst team. Frauds. They stink, dude. And then he also goes on to say, our Jets brutal sideline antics, no good. Hope the camaraderie does not go haywire. You say them?
Hope the he's just talking about between like within the team. That's what he means. Yeah. But in regards to the Cowboys, and we'll talk about that game. But I don't know about you, but I never had any distaste for them. Like I get obviously the general narrative like coming up short, but I never had any like animosity towards them. I don't know how if you thought they were like annoying or something like.
No, I mean not really. I mean the fans aren't that terrible, I suppose. And I mean again, like I always appreciated Tony Romo,
right?
But like you said, I mean they always just fell short of either the playoffs or first round knockouts, like every time. So
like for me, like it's public enemy number one is definitely Patriots. Yeah.
We
of course,
all know that.
We'll get to.
Yes.
Josh B also saying, what a day. We got to see the Jets suck live. Yuck. And it actually worked out good. Because when you guys headed back, I went to the stadium with Josh and his brother-in-law, and we didn't have tickets near each other. But I couldn't believe $75 to be 6 rows up. I was like, are you kidding me? And then there's open spaces around me. So they came down. We all sat next to each other.
No kidding.
So we got to watch the first half together before they, headed back to New Jersey.
That's awesome.
But I just feel like I'll never be that close because like tickets are just so expensive. So it was awesome. But then of course, the way the Jets played in the, the first half was frustrating.
Yeah.
I'm definitely glad because just being there, got to go in. That's just how I felt. But you could really feel the fans being so pissed and like,
I bet.
I mean, it was everybody just going hard on Zach Wilson. And then there were these two girls there. I don't know if they knew somebody, but they're like, yeah, we're going to try to be nice to Zach today. And then I just kept saying, okay, so how about let's go score a touchdown? Let's do that.
Yeah.
And then we didn't. And did it. Yeah. And then so we did, but then it was too late because we didn't. What did Lonnie say?
You started yelling at these two girls? Is that what you're saying? You started
no,
yelling at them
I just kept going, let's score a touchdown. What's Yanni saying?
Before Yanni, though, we do have Robert Parker, who I've noticed now puts HTJ in parentheses next to his name.
Yes, because he thought you called him what, Bobby?
Yeah, hot take Bobby.
Yeah.
Because Robert,
right?
Or hot take
Robbie.
Hot take Robert. Yeah. He says, "What's up? Not supposed to be just watching a bit at work. Love that.
We appreciate that,
Johnny.
Really
and then great to meet you guys. Great to meet him as well. And then let's see. We have Lonnie coming up with big ups to you guys for coming and putting in the work. Exactly why I wanted you guys to come. Great interviews for you guys. I just do my part to help out. Hashtag rep the company. Hashtag rep DTV.
Yanni, honestly, we appreciate it though, bro.
Yes. Yeah. We all played our roles.
Absolutely. Everybody contributed.
Yes.
We can't appreciate the support enough.
Speaking of support, Joshua says it was bad. Even I was screaming fun stuff. He says, "Ha ha."
You know what was tough, and I don't know if because we were just doing our interviews and stuff, and I feel like I had like a couple sandwiches just real quick, like the sausage, the hot dog, and stuff. But I feel like overall didn't eat a ton. Then I get into the stadium, realized my wallet's in the car, so I can't buy anything there. And so by the time the game's over, I get the Uber back. And which I was surprised that it was only to go all the way, to Stanford. It was only $75.
Oh, really?
On Lyft, and the Uber was trying to charge double that.
Yeah.
But I don't usually sit in the back seat, and I was trying to watch Red Zone, and I was just getting like nauseous. So like literally, like the guy wasn't even tight, but 90% of the ride, window open, raining, just needed the air, was gonna like throw up, like because there was traffic and stuff. Like,
oh yeah,
it was tough, but it's like. Listen, I'm not going to take 4 different trains to get back home to save, what, $10, Tony? Like, it's just not worth my aggravation.
Yeah, sure. At that point, the Uber or the Lyft wasn't even that expensive. That's crazy.
Yeah, because you think about, okay, this train is to Caucus, then go to Penn, then go to Grand, then get that ticket to, and then the Uber back from the Stanford train.
Yeah.
Like, you're literally going to save $10, maybe. Yeah. So that was fine. But yeah, it was definitely a little tough. I was so tired. I honestly could have went to bed when I got home by the time I got out of that car, soaked. But it was all worth it at the end of the day. I think the one thing is when there is company outings, I think the next day should be a national day off of work.
Yeah.
Like besides the show.
Right. Yeah. Besides the show.
That, no work. No work. Like just relaxation.
That sounds great.
Like I'm gonna still go to the gym, but I have to say it's gonna be tough. Like wow. But such a great day yesterday. Couldn't thank everybody enough. And then also shout out Josh. Those hoodies so fresh. The customized double B right here. Was that not sick, expecting
dude, with the nickname.
That.
Yeah,
you can't beat the customization. Plus the shirts.
The t-shirts were so
and I
sick.
still have to get
dude.
mine. Michael like grabbed mine when I was like interviewing somebody. I have to get mine.
Oh, Mike still has yours?
It's probably just in his car or something.
Yeah, mine's in my car. And but Kev Do wore his right away. I was like, dude, they look sick.
So fresh. So sick. So a great job by him. That was awesome. And then Bernie saying you needed a shot of Jack Daniels. I think that would have made it worse, honestly. Oh. Like not much in the system. Like it was tough. Like, did you get motion sickness in the back or no? Looking at the phone, like watching something on your phone.
Typically no. But I mean, if I'm like super drunk,
and I wasn't, but I just like kind of was a little dehydrated.
Yeah, it's the empty stomach that really like I know if I'm drinking and I'm like, and I know like, oh man, like at some point I feel it like, oh, I did not eat enough today.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not, because you need it to help your stomach to just to settle it down, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, speaking of eating though, on the way back, Mike and I stopped at Five Guys. Phenomenal time, dude.
Which one did you go to?
The one by Whole Foods in Fairfield.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I got double cheeseburger, lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, ketchup, pickles, onions. Got a dog as well.
A dog,
dude. We literally sat there in Five Guys, ate our food, and we watched the Jets game on Mike's phone.
Oh, really?
And it was sick. We watched like the rest of the game on the phone. It was dope.
That's awesome. Yeah, Five Guys used to be my spot back in the day. And I had to say too, like I thought it wasn't bad. So what I did was I ordered the Uber, like did like the Lyft, like wait and save or whatever. So I think I ordered it with like 8 minutes left in the game. It came right after the safety. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna go anyway. Like it took a little while to get to the guy. So I want to say I was in the Uber at 4:05. Got home at 5:45. So with all that traffic and stuff, like I feel like that was pretty good. Like,
yeah, hour 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any traffic or there wasn't? Because
I mean, like very little.
Okay.
I want to say there was like an hour and 20 to get back to Fairfield.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and yeah, I feel like I didn't really do too bad with that timing wise. So but I think and we'll talk about the specifics of the game, but it's like I think it just kind of like proved to me that I would never at this point anyway, maybe we'll see Rodgers next year, but go out of my way to go to a game. Like it only made sense because we were there. Otherwise, it's like you're just better off watching all the games on TV.
Yeah. I mean, especially again, like for you to get to Newark, like to get to the Meadowlands and like go to a game and then come back. I mean, it's just like a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
it's either going to spend, it's either going to take, it's either like I mean, it's going to be a lot of money, no doubt.
Right.
Like there's no really cost-effective way to get there.
No, and it's like I don't like. Josh was explaining to me. I think like I get on the train, go to Secaucus, then get off that train, take that train to Penn, then take a subway to Grand, and then take Grand to Like how is there not a direct line to Stanford? There's no Amtrak. Like I don't understand why the Jets and Giants wouldn't partner to get that. I don't know if the rail paths don't cross, but
I mean they probably don't. And then on top of that, I mean you are in like New Jersey. They're probably more concerned about like people from the city, people from New Jersey.
I just feel like though, you know what I mean? It's the NFL. It's the Jets and Giants, who are the more recognizable teams in the league. I mean, you want to make it easy for the fans. You want to cut down on the traffic. I'm sure, like, I was fine, but I'm sure if I had waited 20 minutes to get the Uber, then I would have been screwed. 2 hours to get home, and like it would have been awful. So at least it wasn't that bad. But they could just figure something out with the train. Same thing with the Mets. I think if they could figure something out there, it would just you'd probably get more people going to the game. Honestly.
Oh no, definitely. That's for sure, dude. Especially again, like I mean, people from Connecticut. I mean, when the Jets play the Pats, I mean that's going to be huge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even
exactly. Pats fans will be coming down.
What else we got here?
Oh, we got Al coming in saying, "Boys," waving his hand. Haven't heard from Al in a while.
Yo, good to have Al with us here.
To Mets, the tough dude. I know. Just because you definitely could have taken Amtrak from Penn,
but then
to
again,
Stanford.
still getting to Penn, it's just such a ridiculous thing. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And I wouldn't even know where the fuck is the train in New? I don't even know where that train is by the Meadowlands.
It's right there, but like I said,
and you're taking like one stop to Secaucus. Yeah,
I just don't have the patience to do that. And then I was looking, maybe I'll just Uber to Grand Central, and it was like it's $45 to Uber to Grand Central, or it's $75 just to go home. It's like,
why?
What are we talking about? So, but overall, worked out. Outstanding day. Pumped for the blog and pumped to do more. Company outings, ESPN 98.7 outings.
Man,
strengthen our relationship with all these fine people.
Yes. As Jay Bird comes in here, says I stopped at the legendary Ruts Hut after the game yesterday.
What?
Do you know what Ruts Hut is?
No.
It's a place in Jersey, right by the Meadowlands. Probably not too far. I haven't been there since I was a teenager. Hot dog joint.
Okay.
Probably been there for like longer than you and I have been alive.
Oh, and it's ridiculous, or
it is really good. It's like a little. It's a hut. It really
like a
is.
Raleigh's, like kind of.
Yes, it's like a Raleigh's.
Yeah,
but it's much better.
I knew you were gonna say
they deep fry their dog. No, literally, like it's been like regarded as like one of the best hot dog places ever. There's the dog. This is their relish.
Oh wow,
famous relish, dude. It is that weird color. But yeah, it's a great spot. Literally, like little shanty type of place, dude. Bang.
That's awesome.
It does. It is reminiscent of Raleigh's.
Yeah,
definitely gives you Raleigh's vibe. But they deep fry their dogs. So good. Probably can have 10 of those right now, dude.
Oh, 100%.
Right now, Jay. It was fire hot dogs. And then Matt comes in. J-Man, you mean to say you had a couple of dogs? He says. And Jay Bird says the Jets should call Nick Foles. And then Matt says the Jets should call you, J-Man.
I mean, come on. Also, is Jay just like he's got the house to himself or something? I saw him say something on Twitter. He's like owning a house for a week or something.
He tweeted that? What
Yeah.
a fucking idiot.
Is it because he's at his parents' house or no?
No, he's at Andy's house. Andy's on his honeymoon right now in Italy.
And he's watching.
And he asked him to, yeah.
Oh, okay. Josh B saying golf next on the docket. So definitely, yeah, fired up for that cat out in the course. That's gonna be awesome.
Yes. That would be awesome, dude. We were saying October, no?
Yeah, we were saying, but then you were saying some volleyball game or something you have to film. I don't know if you still had to check into that or what the deal
on the
was.
13th or something. Yeah,
Like,
that was it's the men's ice home opener, I think.
oh, okay. So you're basically
taking
locked and loaded for that.
Yeah, I'm working that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get you out there another time.
You should come to the game, dude.
The golf outing though, Josh cleared the schedule.
Oh, you're still gonna go without me?
No, we want to. I mean, unless we could talk to Josh, I'm down to do a different day.
No. Forget it.
If another day is possible, Tony, let's do it. But I'm saying if not, like we could always do it and do it still another time.
Yes. Very true.
And then instead of going to England, you're going to the Meadowlands.
Yes, Matthew Gabriel says that to Jason.
So yeah. Tony, like I said, national day off after the tailgate.
Oh my god, dude!
I don't get what it is. Though. I feel like I hydrated. I went to bed early. Like, what do you think it is? Because you probably did the same, or no? Like, you didn't stay up late last night, right?
No, like 10:30. I was.
What time did you wake up
today?
Yeah,
6.
Okay,
so not the best,
but it's also not the worst.
No, you're like in the middle there. That's pretty good for me too.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that 8 hours?
7.
Yeah.
7.5, 7. No, it was good. I mean, I don't know, dude. I mean, I napped when I got back home.
Right.
But then, the meal prep, watched some of the game, went to bed. So I really didn't do, I guess, much.
Yeah.
But I think it was just the whole weekend catching up to you,
What do you think Jay says it's the weather?
I mean, there is something about like a Monday morning that's incredibly rainy and overcast that makes you just want to stay in bed in a dark room and not leave. And have a couple of hot dogs.
Dogs.
A couple of dogs, dude.
Yeah, that's funny.
Speaking of like kind of being shot, dude. Like,
yeah.
I was talking to Matt yesterday about you, like at the tailgate. And I was like, oh, like it's so good. I was like, it's good for Brian to like get his feet wet, and like get all these interviews.
Yeah.
In. And he really laughs. He goes, yeah, dude, it always happens to Brian when it rains. He gets his feet wet. I'm just like, dude.
Well, they could be dry when it's raining, right?
Yeah, but he just didn't get. Yes,
I think everybody could use a day off.
Yeah, it's just at that time,
Oh man, but let's go to the world of the National Football League.
He wants Jefferson, climbs the ladder. Oh my goodness! Justin Jefferson, the catch of his life.
Burrow fires, intercepted. Picked off at a pick 6. Minka Fitzpatrick, an absolute ball hawk.
Niners twist up front and get to Tagovailoa. Bosa again.
Mahomes escaping on the move, stops, spins, flips it forward for the touchdown.
Stop it.
Aaron Jones. Oh, what a tackle. Quincy Williams with a pile driver.
All right. So a lot going on in the National Football League yesterday, but let's start with the game we were tailgating for, the game we were at. at the end of the day, the New York Jets fall to Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots for the 15th. No, that is not a typo. 15th time in a row, 15-10. And this was just your typical ugly Zach Wilson led Jets offensive effort. And you just could feel it being in the building, the frustration. And we've just talked about it so many times where, I mean, there's almost not, in terms of just how bad he is. I mean, there's nothing to even talk about. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. And just right away, you go 3 and out. First drive, give the ball back to the Patriots. They get a field goal, make it 3-0. And then the Jets again, nothing. What was it? 6 plays for only 5 yards, punt. Patriots get the ball back, punt. Jets get the ball back, punt. Patriots miss a field goal. So it's just a very back and forth defensive battle here. But then the Patriots, extend the lead to 10-0 on a breakdown in coverage. Mac Jones hitting the reserve tight end Brown 58 yards. And it just, you just had to wonder, like, how do they not? I mean, he's not even that fast. I don't know how you don't cover him. But that was a breakdown in coverage. And I know overall, yes, they could have forced some turnovers, had some sacks. It would have made things better. But the defense really allowing only 13 points here. You don't count a safety. Did their job. But, onto the offensive ineptitude. Another punt by the Jets. So just every drive, it's punt, punt, punt. And then they get the New England to punt. Fortunately for the Jets, they get a 10-play drive going. It's like a 4th and 2, and they did call a timeout. It seemed like they were going to go for it. And I'm sitting in the stands there with Josh, and I'm saying, like, it's like a long field goal. But I think, Zerloin, he has a leg. We can't count on Zach, and they end up kicking it. It was 4th and 2 from the 34. So a 52-yard field goal. That makes it 10-3, and that's what we went into the halftime with, because the Patriots missed a long field goal to end the second quarter. On to the third quarter. Patriots extended 10-play drive. Ezekiel Elliott did a really good job in this game of running the football. And he's really looked dead in the water for years. Somehow he was able to average over 4 yards per carry. They featured him on this drive a little bit. And then Ryland makes a 51-yard field goal. So 13-3. Then you punt again. I mean, how many times am I saying it? The Jets are punting. New England punts back to us. And then we punt back to them. They punt. We punt back to them. I mean, this is just insane. They punt again. And this is where we finally do something here. Unfortunately, just a little too late. We go on a 13-play, 87-yard drive that took 5.5 minutes almost off the clock. And Zach, did make some good completions. It was a one-time, like, he looked okay. And it's finished off by a Nick Bowden, the fullback, a 1-yard touchdown run. So that made it 13-10 in favor of the Jets. And then New England gets the ball back. We force a punt. So here's our time. Let's go. The only thing is they pin us deep. And Zach Wilson, a safety, 15-10. Really, I mean, that was really the game at that point. And it's just like, to not be able to deliver the ball and avoid a safety in that situation is just so embarrassing. Get the ball back. But unfortunately, 4 and out, obviously just going for everything here at this point. And it's a 4th and 10 play. I believe Randall Cobb wide open, Tony. Wilson checks down to Conklin for 1 yard. The Jets have a couple timeouts, able to get the ball back for one Hail Mary. And unfortunately, it seemed like it was in grasp of Randall Cobb.
Yeah.
But he doesn't come down with it, and the Jets lose this game. And just on the Hail Mary for a second, what did you think of that? I mean, do you think he should have had it? Tougher than the replay makes it seem? I mean, what were your thoughts there?
I mean, obviously, it's definitely tougher than the replay makes it seem. They play it back in, super slow-mo. But, I mean, I mean, if I were there, I probably would have caught that ball. I feel like a lot of people would have, but again, like, I don't know. You can't really hold Cobb, I guess, necessarily accountable. I mean, he slipped on the wet grass, and that's why he wasn't really able to catch it. That's kind of something out of his control. Not to mention, like, it is a Hail Mary,
Right.
Like, they call it a Hail Mary for a reason, because you're praying that just something good happens. And you never really want your team to be in that position to begin with. So it's not like you can put, I'm not sitting over here like putting the game on that guy's shoulders because of that. But he definitely could have grabbed that ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And a little bit of a different narrative, obviously, today, if it's.
Yeah, but it's still, I mean, you look at the numbers, sure, Zach would have gotten a touchdown there. I mean, what was that, a 50-yard throw, so he would have been over 200, but he was still 50% completion, sacked 3 times, QBR of 17.9. I believe, he didn't even have 100 yards going into the fourth quarter before he had that long drive. I think it was all you needed to see. The fact that he still just cannot distribute the ball to his weapons. I mean, the fact too that it's like Garrett Wilson, we know what a study is. For him to have 5 for 48, that's like a big game with Zach Wilson because of him struggling to throw the football. So, it really is tough because I think, if you just think about backups on other teams, guys that are free agents, I mean, I would estimate there's probably 10 or 15 guys that you feel like could have started this football game and you would have won it. Like I said, I know the defense didn't force any turnovers, but the offense didn't have any turnovers either. But you hold the other team to 13 points. Yeah. And your offense can't win the game. I mean, that's just the indictment of all indictments.
No, yeah. I mean, I think, there were certainly times where there was a lack of pressure on Mac Jones, where, Zeke should have definitely been defended better, where there were blown coverages, by some of the secondary. But regardless, like you said, I mean, you held them to 13 points. Not to mention at the end of the game, you gave your offense the ball back several times late in the fourth quarter with opportunities to take the lead. So I really don't think you can blame the defense at all, honestly, in this loss. I mean, of course, listen, I guess at the end of the day, Robert Saleh said it at his post game. At the end of the day, defense job is to give up 0 points, but still, he said that, it was a full team effort to lose. I mean, certainly Zach Wilson had some bright moments. He had some really lows. He definitely had a tough time, having some time in the pocket. I feel like, really, except for the end of the game, honestly. I really do think a narrative is a little different if Zach Wilson does win this game. Because again, towards the end of the game, it seemed like he finally was getting time in the pocket in that drive, to go 13-10, to pull it within 3 for the Jets. I mean, that drive, he looked so confident, dude. For the first time, I feel like I've ever seen him have confidence. But yeah, it is unfortunate that he just couldn't. Obviously, when the pressure was on the next drive, I mean, the dude buckled under the pressure. There's really that drive he has to march on the field, and then when the pressure's on to do it again, you crumble. I mean, that's his mental game, dude. It has to be.
Yeah.
At that point, how do you feel though? Because Alani said it too. He was kind of mocking. Josh B said it, I guess. Mocking Saleh in the post-game interview. He said he gives the Jets the best chance to win. And Josh B says, does he really, Robert? Really? And it's interesting. I don't know if you listened to that interview with Saleh after the game, because I was listening on the radio. Because he was I forget how the question was worded, but along the lines of why is Zach Wilson still starting, basically. And Saleh paused. He goes, he is the best. And then he paused for a long time. And then he just said, he gives us the best chance to win. So, I mean, because you obviously, you're sitting here talking about backup quarterbacks and free agents that are better than Zach Wilson. But it seems like Saleh's point of view comes from the fact that he just knows the team, how it's run, the players, the offense. I mean, how much of a factor do you really think that at what point do you think Saleh will be like, all right, doesn't matter what Zach Wilson knows, we just have to bring someone else in? Like how much does his knowledge of the current offense really hold?
It's actually one of those things that we've talked about, like the charade, and everybody, they were talking about it on Rick and Dave this morning. It's just forced from Woody Johnson for whatever reason. I guess it's just because this guy was the second overall pick. He just wants him to succeed in the worst way, and his hands are tied. He doesn't. If it was up to Robert Saleh, I think he would cut Zach Wilson on the spot. It's
really
that
think
simple.
so?
Absolutely. And then, also, what was disturbing this morning is Rex Ryan, was on Rick and Dave. I don't know. I think that's a weekly Monday spot.
Yeah, he does it regularly now.
And I have to say, I think it gave me trauma listening to him talk. It felt like the Rex at the end of his Jets tenure. He was just saying, like, the season's not over. You don't want to bring in somebody else because you don't want to give up on your second overall pick. And even like Rick after the interview was just like, give up on him. Like, they already benched him last year, and like, they know he's terrible. Like, you're not losing anything by doing that. And it's like, he was just like very defensive of Saleh, just saying that he's a great football coach, and that, Zach's gonna, turn it around. And it just like, everyone's like, what do you like? Twitter was going absolutely nuts. The company talking about this. I mean, it's reached the point where there is no other side to the debate. Everybody could see it. Everybody knows it. And I think it's pretty much, and I made this analogy on Twitter before, but it's pretty much the same as, trotting out Josh Donaldson and batting him fifth, like what the Yankees were doing. Like, that's the point that we've reached. Everybody can see it because it just happens time and time and time again.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it is. It's just interesting because again, like Saleh yesterday was. He was asked by a reporter.
Though.
It really was, because at one point he was asked, like, who the reporter was like, statistically speaking, like, what are you looking at, like, in Zach, like, and he just beat around the bush, didn't really answer the question. There were some questions where he outright refused to even answer. It's like, no, I'm not gonna answer that. That's all I can give you right now.
Yeah. No, I mean, and
we're gonna talk about when I watch tape.
Did you need to see anything other than his face on the first game of the season when, like, Rodgers was hurt and Zach was in? I mean,
dude.
That was it.
Because I really do. Because, like, like you're saying, what Rick brought up about, like, last season, they benched Zach at a time where, like, he wasn't doing terribly. Like, he was still, I feel like, in question. And they were benching him. And then, wasn't there, like, at one point last year, didn't he call out the rest of the team for a loss or something?
Zach?
Wilson? Yeah.
No, he said it wasn't on. They asked him if the loss was on him to the Patriots, where he threw 3 or 4 interceptions, and he said no. So yeah, I mean, that's all you need to know. There wasn't any accountability then. There's not any accountability now. And there even was a clip yesterday of Garrett Wilson saying about Zach Wilson, like, they have it on TV saying, like, he can't throw.
Really?
Like, just sideline footage, and he's like mouthing it.
Oh, okay.
And it's just terrible. I can only imagine, what all the other players in this locker room are going through, and I don't know, how this doesn't create a lot of turmoil, because they know it. They know someone else needs to be brought in, and they just do not want to pivot. And just are trying for Hail Marys with this guy. And it's just not going to work. And I think, this should be the tipping point. We know the way this operation goes. It's not going to be. But I think, when they play Kansas City this week on Sunday Night Football and they get embarrassed, most likely, probably be a similar result to what the Kansas City Bears game was yesterday. And then maybe that'll be enough for Woody Johnson, but that's going to happen. I mean, they're not going to score at all, and I think Kansas City easily hangs 30 to 40 points on them.
Yeah, and then from then on,
for all of America, you know what I mean. You can't hide
ugly,
that
dude.
game.
By the way, I think this is the video where they're trying to say.
Looking out in the sorry.
I can't see. Yeah, I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
You can't really tell here, though.
Garrett Wilson, it's got to be so pissed. I mean, it's a waste of everybody's time. Zach Wilson is a waste of everybody's time, and it's like almost a waste of time to even discuss. Because I mean, it's so obvious. Like I was getting all worked up the first couple of weeks, like talking about this with you guys, and now it's just like,
I know. Where's the juice? No juice.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so obvious and evident. And like I said, Rick had a very good take on it this morning, that it's just their hand is being forced here from Woody, and we've seen Woody make some poor decisions, and this is another one. And maybe too, Wilson is Rodgers' guy, but there's no way that Aaron Rodgers, he goes through this offseason with this team, knows the talent of this team, would be trying to block the Jets from bringing in a different quarterback. I really can't see him being that selfish just because, he wants Zach to succeed. I just cannot see that. But
I mean, honestly, like, was this freaking Steinbrenner, dude? Like, what the hell?
Yeah. But you'll see this is an unserious organization if somebody is not signed this week, which I'm guessing that they're not going to be. But that would be this is the perfect time, because listen, you anytime you're a fan, you want to be optimistic of your team, but they are going to get completely annihilated on Sunday Night Football. There's no two ways about it. So at least if you start Zach Wilson, whoever veteran you bring in isn't going to start the game, but at least have a couple days of practice. And then when the game's out of reach, why not put him in? Why not give him some experience with the team? Because that's what you're going to need moving forward. And like I said last week, it can get early quick. And that's what we're seeing happening here.
Yeah, let's get to some comments here. Speaking of getting early quick, let's see.
Getting early quick?
Getting late quick.
Late early,
dude. Wow, where were we? Gotta go back a little ways. Jay Bird says, Josh B says, what is in the post game with Salah was rough, dude. Lonnie's saying, they're punting, and quoting Dave. Josh B asking for a picks recap.
Yes. So we both went 2-1. Our only blemish, Chicago not covering that 12 and a half. So
now we know.
Next time when I'm saying don't do it, like that felt like a Zach Wilson spot for me.
Stop it, dude.
Yeah.
But it's okay. What did they lose on?
What do you mean?
So they went 2-1 as well, downtime.
You mean the company? Yes. So they lost on the Jags because they lost outright. Yeah,
Trevor Lawrence, not good.
So they're 4-2. We're 3-1-1. So same, differential here of a half game. So a early competitive competition. That's what we love to see.
Love it, dude. We'll be pulling away late. Don't worry. Josh B also says that he thinks Kev already took the day off.
Yeah, like I said, we can always do still do the third. We'll still do the 13th, then we'll do another day that Tony can make. Different time.
Yeah, that sounds fine, dude. We also have Jay Bird saying you'd still be questioning Zach Wilson if he did win.
Yeah.
Obviously, we came to that conclusion already. My mother says good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mom. Hot Take Johnny says Wilson gives the Jets as good a chance to win as I would have yesterday going straight from our tailgate. Josh B saying that it was definitely rough to listen to Rex today, too. What do you think that's about?
I guess he's close with Salah, so he wants to defend Salah. But that's like I said, Rex, you didn't torture us enough towards the end of your tenure. Then you got to say something like that. I mean, Rick and Dave, they like him, and Rick pretty much was like, "What? Like, I can't believe he said that." Like, he basically called him out.
Because I mean, even like last week too, Rex was saying the same thing about Zach Wilson, how he's got the talent, like he believes in Salah's assessment, whatever.
But the weirdest thing is he goes, yeah, I don't like Zach. I don't like the kid either. That's what he was saying. It's like, Rex, it's like Ty Butler yesterday, drinking drugs. Like, what is it? You're
saying Ty Butler was saying drinking? It was drinking. Yeah. That is weird. Jay Bird said that he saw someone tweet they missed Mike White.
I mean, Mike White had more passing touchdowns than Zach Wilson yesterday, and he played one series.
Says he missed Mike White the moment he went to Miami.
Yeah. Josh has been hard on that. And you remember last year, I could not be more complimentary of Mike White. I love Mike White.
Honestly, everyone did. It was a cult classic. But Lonnie saying hello to my mother, saying that I'm so handsome.
She already knows that.
Knows that, obviously. Lonnie also saying when Mike says Zach Wilson, quack, quack. It had a different meaning.
I do think, this we went into this game saying like this would put this is like
he told me yesterday he still wants Zach Wilson.
Yeah, but he knows that he sucks because he was already alluding to it yesterday.
Yeah, but it was
no, but he already was. He told me literally. So cat's out of the bag.
Chris Jones going to eat Zach Wilson for his little in-game snack. Oh, Matthew saying it's brutal. Kansas City obliterate us. Just get Minshew. I'm with you, Barnes, on the Minshew bandwagon.
100%.
Says, they're not trading Minshew now. How I doubt it, Matt.
True, which we'll get to in a second, but he would be great still.
Wow, Lonnie was his horrendous pick, dude.
Yanni. Almost as bad as Tony's pick.
Almost, dude. My mother saying, thank you, Lonnie, dude. Lonnie stuck up the joint at home. Hot Take Giant says Minshew isn't getting traded. I think Washington. Wow, Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, like it's not exciting, but it's better. It's somebody who knows how to play quarterback and doesn't freeze up when they get the ball.
What's like your goal now for the Jets this season?
Win as many games as you can. This group needs experience.
Right.
You know,
like make the playoffs
if we could, but it's like this is the whole, late early, Tony.
Right.
Like it's like this week, somebody needs to be brought in the building. Otherwise, you're wasting everybody's time.
No, I think you're right because you do need your best chance to win games now. But like, let's say because like rumors are circulating of Aaron Rodgers possibly coming back for playoff time.
But there is no playoffs if you don't bring.
Well, no, I'm saying like if the Jets do bring someone in and it's like, hey, we're looking to reach the playoffs. For when Rodgers gets back,
but the person's gonna take it because there's no like safest assumption that a guy's gonna come back from an Achilles injury in the same season when it's never happened ever. So like the person's gonna be fine with it.
No, but I'm saying like at that point, like, do you think just win the Super Bowl? It's my question. I don't know why you keep jumping over me while I'm trying to ask.
Because it sounded like you were saying
no.
It did sound like you were saying like would the person not want to come because Rodgers is gonna come back to the playoffs. I thought that's what you were saying.
No, it was not what I was saying.
I don't think Rodgers is gonna be able to come back that early. Honestly, I think it's not. It would be sick. It's a good story, but you just there's a reason why nobody's done it, Tony.
Right?
Like, you know what I mean? Especially at that age. Come on.
No, I don't think he will.
It would really be silly.
It would be stupid for him to do so because, like I said, like that Achilles, like even if you do play, like you're probably gonna tear it again. But for the sake of the conversation, Brian, Super Bowl.
Yeah, but like. Quarterback like yesterday.
Yeah.
Like that's the only thing. So if they fart around and don't bring anybody in, then there's no point even bringing anybody in because you're going to be what, 1-6 at that point?
Yes. Robert Parker, by the way, saying Brissett has a 2-to-1 turnover ratio and can run
anybody.
Bit,
that's the theme here, Robert. Anybody, even Kirk Cousins, who has a history of not stepping up in big moments, like Hall of Famer compared to Zach Wilson.
Lonnie says if Mike still wants Zach, he needs to be tested immediately.
No, he
probably does. No. Matthew says no Carson Wentz at anyone, I guess. God, dude. Danny V, Birdie, saying no way he comes back.
Yeah, he's not going to come back. He's not going to come back.
My mother asked me if I'm available the weekend of the 9th, October 9th. I gotta check my calendar, I guess.
The Mets might have a postseason game, no?
Stop it, dude. They got eliminated finally.
Yes, so did the Yankees.
With the Yankees. So no hopes in that, dude.
Yep.
October 9th is a Sunday. We have Sportsport at the Horseshoe, 7:00. So not really. I can come home that weekend. We'll talk, Mom.
Yeah. We'll talk about it.
You're not going to talk about it.
Wait, but isn't October 9th Monday?
No. October 9th. Oh, it's Columbus Day. The weekend of the 9th.
Oh, okay. Oh, but Sportsport's on the 8th.
Sportsport's on the 8th, which is Sunday.
Gotcha.
And then, I guess I can be available for Saturday. Do that.
Figure it out. Let's talk about some of these other games, though, because I'm Zach Wilson out, Tony. So just kind of going around the league here. We saw the Browns lay the hammer on the Titans here, 27-3. And we had talked about going into this game, Deshaun not playing well, not being the guy that they gave all this guaranteed money to. And here's, an opportunity to correct that. And he does. I mean, 27-33, 289, 2 touchdowns, hit Amari Cooper 7 times for 116 yards and a score. And they had a bunch of different guys carry the ball, even Kareem Hunt, making his return to the Browns. Didn't get much going on the ground, but it didn't matter. They easily win this football game. And getting that rapport with Amari Cooper, I think is a big deal. And I know I haven't been high on the Titans all year. So all of that being said, though, I think it is refreshing for Cleveland to get a pretty substantial effort out of Deshaun Watson. And I think the whole Jets fan base would be clamoring in the streets if we got that type of performance out of Zach Wilson.
Oh my God. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, even just to what he threw for 2 touchdowns or receptions. Yeah, dude. 289. That's great, dude. Couple carries too, a 10-yard run. Pretty solid. I mean, it's good to see Watson, like you said, kind of get back to what he was supposed to be doing,
right?
Especially for the Browns too. But what, I mean, do you think like Titans like kind of fluky-ish win? Like, what do you think the Browns can kind of progress from here? Do you think Watson ceiling is still high, will progressively get better after every game?
This has been kind of like the sweet spot because he had his 6 starts last year. This was his 3rd start this year. So technically, since a long layoff, he hasn't played a full season. So this was the time, okay, he needs to get going. And I think it's the timing's right here because this division I think is wide open. You got a lot of talent. You got 3 teams at 2-1. Bengals at 0-2 will play later tonight. But the Browns have an opportunity here. There's a lot of talent in that team. They got a great defense, and I think they can do a good rotation. With the Fords, with the Hunts of the world, to fill in for Nick Chubb. So I think they're going to be a contender. And I mentioned how there's a couple 2-1 teams in the division. One team that fell to 2-1 yesterday, and I believe somebody gave out this pick for free on Friday. But the Indianapolis Colts outright over the Ravens on the road here. Gardner Minshew, Tony, stepping in for the concussed Anthony Richardson. 27 of 44, 227, 1 touchdown, no picks. Was sacked 5 times. And hooked up with Michael Pittman, 9 receptions, 77 yards. Zach Moss caught the touchdown, also ran for 122 on the ground. And do you feel like, when you look at this too, Lamar only 202 yards through the air, did have 101 on the ground. So we haven't seen him have one of those explosive games in a while, running the football. Tucker missed a late field goal that would have won it, I believe, from 61. But do you believe this game says more about the Ravens or the Colts, that the Colts maybe are better than what we thought, even with a backup quarterback, or that the Ravens, what we've seen a theme over recent years, are a team that is not on the up, but are on the decline?
I mean, yeah, dude. I mean, I feel like the more so for the Ravens decline. I mean, you would expect with that offense, they would be scoring more than 19 points. And Jackson rushed in for 2. So I don't know what was going on there. I don't know, dude. I mean, I guess Zay Flowers led the team in receiving, 48 yards. I know Lamar was sacked 4 times. I mean, do they have issues protecting Jackson? Is that why he's just always on the run and nothing ever really works for them through the air? Like,
I just feel like they, other than that one season, they do not have a consistent passing attack. And I know, like we're just talking about Zach Wilson, the 22-31 here from Zach, sure, it would have been great.
Right.
But still, like I've said many times, this is 2023, 202 yards, no passing touchdowns, and just not being able to punch the ball in late when you need it at times in the 4th quarter in overtime, not doing that. So I think it's maybe just overall lack of production, but then being able to step up and make big throws, I think it's a problem. So I don't think this is going to be a Baltimore Ravens team. And I know they were missing a lot of guys yesterday, including Odell. that is going to make the playoffs. I think that division is too good.
Mhm.
And then, on the other side of things, in the AFC South, I think the Colts have a chance to make noise, especially, after next week, Jonathan Taylor will be able to come back from the pub list, and we'll
Right.
see if they can sort stuff out between him and the team. But you couple that with
Mhm.
Anthony Richardson, his explosive playmaking
Yeah.
ability. Michael Pittman looks like one of those next great Colt receivers. I think there's a lot to like here if you're Shane Steichen in the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah. No, that's for sure, dude. I mean, you have any issues with their front line? I mean, their offensive line, excuse me, because Minshew sacked 5 times. And I feel like Baltimore's defense is good, I suppose, right? But I mean,
Yeah, Baltimore's defense good, but you got a backup quarterback, and the
Yeah.
fact that you were able to run for 122 yards on the Baltimore Ravens on the road, I think you'll
Yeah.
take it and win with a backup quarterback. And I think Minshew, in this spot, justified everything I was talking about. A backup quarterback that's capable of winning games, especially on the road against a team, that's supposed to be pretty good this year. So I think that's a job well done by the whole Indianapolis Colts team. A job well done not by the Denver Broncos yesterday, as they get historically embarrassed 70 to 20.
Dude.
I don't know if I've ever seen a game like this, and it was the most points scored in an NFL game since 1966. You had 5 rushing touchdowns for the Dolphins, 5 passing touchdowns. Guys going up and down the field. Rookie Devon Achani had 203 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns rushing, also had 2 receiving touchdowns. Rasheed Mostert also had 4 touchdowns. So I don't know if I've ever seen a team have 5 rushing touchdowns, run for 350 yards, 2 guys with 4 touchdowns, and then a quarterback who, only had 3 incompletions, threw for over 300 yards, had 4 touchdowns, and
Ridiculous.
wasn't sacked or threw an interception. And you talk about a perfect game.
Yeah, no, that is a perfect game. Like the closest thing to it you'll ever see.
And I think, we knew going into this one that Miami is one of the most talented teams in the league. Obviously, a lot depending on Tua, his health. But he has rapport with his receivers. They were missing Jalen Waddle yesterday, and you would have never known it. Tyreek Hill, 9 receptions, 157 and a score. You had Robbie Chosen, formerly known as Robbie Anderson, catching a 68-yard touchdown pass as well. But this Dolphin team is scary. And I think at this point in the season, we know the Bills have recovered since that week 1 loss to the Jets, but clearly the best team in the AFC East and potentially the best team in the AFC, or at least right up there with the Kansas City Chiefs, you would think.
I mean, at this point, dude, yeah, I mean, I've never seen this Chiefs score 70 points.
Yeah.
And again, I know personally, I had Wilson falling flat on his face with the Broncos and Peyton coming into the season. But a lot of people thought that they were going to have a resurgent year, that, Wilson is still a Hall of Fame quarterback, that with Sean Payton's tutelage, he can really whip these guys into shape. I don't think Peyton's done anything over there in Denver.
Besides talk.
Literally besides talk. And I know, one of his biggest complaints were that these guys, there's no discipline. They don't want to hit. They're not conditioned well. And it seems like that those 3 things still will maintain in your team there. Just watching this game, I saw some guys like arm tackling.
Mm-hmm. So
What are you doing, dude?
It's
you can't arm tackle Tyreek Hill when he's fucking running 20 miles an hour.
late, early, quick, or what? With the Broncos?
Like I said, this season, for me, I think they're gonna be one of the worst teams in the league. So I'm not surprised at this. I think it's been over since week 1. I think Russ is kind of washed. I understand. I suppose. His line isn't horrific. 306 yards to the air, 1 touchdown, but an interception. So it's not good. And I think that they turned the ball over 2 more times, Denver. And again, it's just 300. How many over 30 yards rushing? 350 rushing, dude.
5 rushing touchdowns. 5.
Ridiculous. You're not doing anything. You're letting them just run. You weren't playing.
They're letting them run over you.
Literally, dude. And it's kind of crazy because it's not even look at the time of possession here too. It's not even Miami had the ball for 33 minutes, and the Broncos had it for 26, almost 27 minutes. It wasn't a huge disparity. It wasn't every time the Broncos were going out there, it was a 3 and out, or every time they were fumbling on the second play of the drive. it's just crazy just how quick Miami was able to score like off of those drives. Just so efficient with their drives. It's crazy, dude. And consistent every quarter.
Now another blowout win, not to the same margin yesterday, but we saw the Bills 37-3 over the Commanders. I feel like the Commanders in this one were a trendy, like kind of upset special. They were 2-0 going into this game.
Yeah.
Howell had looked pretty good, but the Bills just come into Washington, completely dominate them 37-3 here. And they pick off Sam Howell 4 times, sack him 9 times. It's like Carson Wentz is still on the team. So the Bills, I think, have bounced back in a big way. Allen wasn't perfect, but was 20 of 32, 218, had a rushing and passing touchdown, did have 1 pick, wasn't sacked, but also they got big production in the run game. James Cook showing that burst that his brother Dalvin seemingly has lost since coming to the Jets. 15 carries for 98 yards. Diggs went 8 for 111. And the Bills are 2-1 here. And have an attractive matchup next week against the Miami Dolphins. Do we think that that concern we had with the Bills, after that week 1 loss has kind of subsided, or is that going to come out in full force at home next week against Miami?
Come out in full force, dude.
Yeah, you think it's Allen just can't rely on him?
I don't think so, dude. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like you look at these two teams. I mean, high scoring, I think, on both ends.
Right.
But again, like barring like a Tua injury thing here, I feel like Josh Allen is going to be way less efficient. I mean, he's bound to throw. He threw an interception yesterday, no?
Yeah.
So like I feel like he's bound to throw another one. Was that like his 3rd, 4th of the year?
I think the Jets picked him off 3 times. I don't know if he threw one last week, but
all right, so it's at least his 4th.
Yeah,
I think it's his
that's
4th
a lot
of the
to
year.
have
It's a lot
already,
already. Someone else had 4 interceptions too. Garoppolo last night, dude.
3 picks yesterday.
3 picks, 4th.
Yeah. 4th
total.
of the year. Yeah,
4th of the year.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I just think at that point it's gonna be Miami.
We saw the Lions 20-6 over the Falcons. So the Lions moving to 2-1. That tough loss last week against Seattle. They rebound here. Goff did what you need, to do. 22 of 33, 243, touchdown and a pick. Good production out of the run game. 80 yards from Gibbs, 4.7 a carry. And then St. Brown 9 for 102. And the Lions defense just really shut down this Falcons offense, which had success running the football. Only 20 carries here for 44 yards, 2.2 yards per carry. Ritter was sacked 7 times. Once again, I feel like the Detroit Lions, they came into the season, some expectation, possibly, able to win the division, and they're going to have a short turnaround here Thursday night football against the Packers. But I think, we're going to see good things from Detroit moving forward here.
Oh yeah. Did you say who they're playing next? Sorry, Packers.
Thursday night football.
I mean, that's a good matchup, I suppose. I would take the Packers, in my opinion, there. But,
tight one, I think. I think it's gonna be very tight.
I think it would be, I guess, a good matchup.
Yeah.
And they beat Atlanta, so I mean, I guess that's kind of like, it was 27-6.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of expected, right? I mean, I understand like the Lions, I think they're going to be kind of, I don't know, middle of the pack type of team this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think it should come down to them and Green Bay for that division. Minnesota is terrible.
Yeah.
We know what the Bears are. So I think that's going to be fun, and I can't wait for that game on Thursday. And speaking of the Packers, they squeaked one out here against the Saints. 18-17, scoring 18 unanswered in the 4th quarter. I mean, that's impressive stuff. They take advantage of a Derek Carr shoulder injury, hurting the AC joint. You would imagine he would miss next week. Jameis Winston stepped in, wasn't able to get the offense going. Jordan Love, played well in the 4th quarter here. And the Packers, a 1-point win. They've had these close games to start earlier in the year. But I think one thing, and I know Love, he had a lot of incompletions yesterday, but I think he's played, a lot better than people were anticipating coming into the year.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's faster than we all thought. And I think, he has just kind of more poise in the pocket than you would have thought as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's good stuff here. Green Bay without Aaron Jones, a 4th quarter comeback here at home. I think it's big going into this matchup against Detroit.
Yeah. Again, in terms of how Jordan Love is doing,
That's like full force, Tony.
that was fucking ridiculous. That was scared the shit out of me.
The Jets should take him, Jordan Love.
I mean, I would. They're not gonna, they're
it
not
would
gonna
be
go Jordan Love.
amazing. Hall of Famer. Retire his number.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Stop, dude. But I don't know. I feel like, so many times with these young quarterbacks, it takes some time to kind of get going and find their rhythm. So I just feel like, if Jordan Love figures it out and is able to start a game off hot like he did, like he played the fourth quarter. I mean, they scored no points until the fourth quarter, right?
They're being shut out.
So it was pretty fucking crazy. And then for Love to come out and he threw a touchdown and ran one in, I believe, too. So, I mean, for him to do that, I think late in the game at home, I mean, that's going to be a huge booster for him, a huge booster for the team. And it does showcase, what he could do in a quarter. I mean, 18 points in a quarter is pretty good, dude. Like, let's go.
Exactly. And I think too, Aaron Jones, coming back, to this team is a big boost. Christian Watson hasn't played yet either.
Right.
So I think that's, because AJ Dillon, I think in a feature role struggles. We saw him yesterday, 11 for 33, only 3 yards a carry. But as a complementary piece, running downhill, Jones out of the backfield, Watson vertically and in the red zone. I really like this Packers team. And I think, I think it's going to be an exciting matchup on Thursday night.
Do you think they win the division? I don't know how much you like the Lions. You love the Lions.
I want to say the Lions win it, but the Packers make the playoffs.
Wow. Okay.
But we'll see. Yeah. I'm excited for that matchup, though, for sure. Moving along here, we saw surprisingly, the Houston Texans getting their first win of the season. CJ Stroud, the first win of his career. In really dominating fashion here, 37-17 over Jacksonville. Stroud 280 through the year, 2 touchdowns, and hooked up with Tank Dell, 5 receptions, 145 and a score. And Houston didn't run the ball great, only 86 yards and 26 carries, but it was enough. And it's just interesting, Jacksonville coming into this year, you thought heavy favorites to win the AFC South, but they find themselves 1-2 here. And it's just kind of odd. We know there's so much talent on this team, especially on offense. Do you think at 1-2, Jacksonville finds themselves in a little bit of trouble?
I mean, yeah, dude. I mean, I think they can pull themselves out, but they're certainly in trouble. I don't think anyone really expected them to start the season so flat like this, right?
No.
So, I mean, yeah, they're in a little bit of trouble. They're gonna have to dig themselves out here. What do they have next?
That is actually a good question. Let's see what we got for the Jags.
I feel like regardless of who they really have next, it's gonna be a test anyway.
Well, because then there's just such a difference starting out 2-2 and 1-3.
Yeah, it's totally different. And again, like you said, it could get late.
London against
early.
The Falcons, which is interesting.
It's the London game. Again, you would think Falcons they match up well against.
Right.
But London,
the Jags got to win that game.
They have to win the game. No, it is a must
as
win.
well. So
are they?
Well, because they've had the most games there. They started.
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool. I guess
they always have a game there every year.
Is there like a fan base? Like that's pretty.
I think they're trying to make one, but really the whole thing is there's no NFL games overseas. Respectively, obviously there are, but very few. So it's just they're jacked up for any matchup. So they've been there the most. And I think it makes the fans get behind them, more than they would.
All right, so maybe they'll have. Obviously, they're be used to playing in London, have a little bit of a fan base. So maybe that playing overseas will work a little bit more to their advantage. So I say they win the game.
And we saw the Chargers pick up their first victory of the season here, 28-24.
Howdy doody.
Over the Minnesota Vikings. Justin Herbert, we've talked about his abilities many times. 40 of 47. 3 touchdowns, and he found Keenan Allen, Tony, 18 times for 215 yards. Allen also threw a 49-yard touchdown to Mike Williams, so doing that wide receiver pass that I've been clamoring for the Jets to do. Williams 7 for 121 in the score, and Joshua Palmer also caught a touchdown. But a lot being made of late in the game. Really, the Chargers almost gave this one away. as head coach Brandon Staley, deep in their own territory. I want to get the exact specifics on this. So they go for like a 4th and 1 from their own 24 and don't get it. They don't go quarterback sneak with Herbert. We've seen the Philly, whatever you want to call it, play, where the quarterback gets pushed by his lineman.
Yeah.
But in a game where they're up 4, they go for it on their own 24. Staley catching a lot of flack. Obviously, they end up winning because they end up picking off Kirk Cousins after that.
That's crazy, dude.
But I mean, we've talked about Staley many times. Rex was hammering him on his spot today, saying, that's a Super Bowl level roster, and he's just not getting anything out of it.
How much credibility does Rex have?
Oh, of course not. And he always used to hammer the Chargers. I'm trying to think of what coach was the coach of the team, but regardless of that, just that, they were loaded and they couldn't do anything, blah, blah, blah. If I was that coach, all that stuff.
Oh,
but he's an idiot. I think
he is an idiot.
Rex is an idiot. As much as we fell in love with the 9-10 years.
He's got a mouth.
Yeah, he doesn't make any sense. Anyway,
Loves
Tony,
the toes.
You have to question if you're the Chargers. You have the horses. You're loaded. Eventually, though, is Brandon Staley going to cost you, maybe even cost you a chance to even make the playoffs making decisions like that?
I mean, yeah. How can you argue? Of course, it's gonna affect your team.
Yeah.
He was this close to affecting the outcome of the game with that call. So yeah, man. I mean, he's got to start making some better decisions down the stretch. And I mean, it's not like this was early in the game. Like this was like, the game is still up in the air. It's late in the game. Like it's the time of the game where sometimes the leads change. 3-point game, and you're making kind of a bonehead call like that. I mean, yeah, dude, you gotta get better at making decisions in big spots with the pressure on you. I mean, I love the aggressiveness on 4th and 1, trying to put the final nail in the coffin here. But I feel like how many times you see a team run a QB sneak and it's like successful.
Yeah,
like almost every time. I feel right.
Yeah. So you'll have to see kind of what develops there. They have the Raiders next week, 4:05. So
yeah.
Interesting matchup.
I think they hammer them.
One team will go to 2-2. One team will go to 1-3. So we'll have to keep an eye out there. Shout out Steve, who was holding down the grill yesterday. He's a big Vikings fan.
Yes,
and
dude.
There's some comments here. He's talking about trading Kirk Cousins, who, threw for 367. I believe he's the NFL's leading passer, 3 touchdowns. Late interception does him in. Found Justin Jefferson early and often, as always, 7 for 149 and a score. Even ran the ball effectively, 24 for 130. But just not able to get it done. And it's just one of those things. We saw him win all those games in the regular season last year before losing to the Giants during a home playoff game. They'll get Andy Dalton and the Panthers next week unless Bryce Young has recovered from his ankle injury. But are the Minnesota Vikings in a world of trouble here?
I mean, I guess, dude. Again, look at the record of 0-3.
All one possession losses, too.
Yeah, all tight losses. And we've seen the Vikings, you mentioned last season, they've blown some leads. But I think it's also another case of almost like the Chargers, where your team is talented.
Yeah.
You have arguably the best receiver in the league, Justin Jefferson. And he has a great night for you. Kirk Cousins as well, besides that 1 interception, which does him in, but it's just like, I don't know. I mean, maybe you can throw it a little bit more on the defense. I mean, Alexander Mattinson, 20 carries for 93 yards. You were effective on the ground. You were effective through the air. You scored 24 points. Of course, that interception by Cousins at the end of the game. I mean, that was sort of the nail in their coffin. But again, I mean, maybe if your defense does a better job to hold the Chargers to where they're at. I mean, 1 sack.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, it's just kind of executing when you need to. So be interesting to see Cousins in the last year of his deal, if they entertain moving him. Because there's a lot of talent in this team. I'm sure they just want to compete, but it's going to have to start next week against the Panthers. And speaking of the Panthers, they fell 37-27. Andy Dalton getting the start. And as a backup, here we're talking about, again, backups stepping up, making throws, 361 through the air, 2 touchdowns, but not enough against Seattle, who ran for 146 on the ground, led by Kenneth Walker's 97 yards and 2 scores. Geno just under 300 yards here at 296. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Found DK Metcalf 6 times for 112 yards. So Seattle, after that disappointing week 1 loss to the Rams, has recovered in back-to-back weeks here. Looking strong, offensively, running the ball, throwing. Defense has given up a few points, but it seems like overall you have a solid football team with the longest tenured coach in the NFC here, and Pete Carroll. They'll get the Giants this coming a week from today, actually, on Monday Night Football. What do you think about Seattle, Tony? Do you think looking pretty promising here moving forward?
Yeah, I do think so. I mean, I think as long as Geno Smith stays kind of clean, Pete Carroll loves putting the ball in his hands to throw the ball, 36 passing attempts there. Yeah, I think, again, Geno Smith, I think, is someone who I kind of anticipated still having a great season following up last year. And if he continues to play like that, hitting DK Metcalf, Kenneth Walker.
Physical runner.
Yeah, I mean, if he's great, getting yards after a catch, rather. I think if they continue to play like that offensively, I mean, I think they're going to be a competitive team and being in the playoff picture for sure.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. And I think, that they're in a good spot there against the Giants. Obviously, Giants need that game, but you feel like they're the far superior football team. Speaking of the far superior football team, 41-10, Chiefs over the Bears. Bears, I mean, looking like they're in line to get the number 1 pick and possibly replace Justin Fields. Just has not had it this year after having so many kind of highlight moments last season. So a lot of questions there in Chicago. And there was concern about the Chiefs going into this game. I think it was their fewest points scored in their first 2 games combined under the Reid-Mahomes combo. No trouble scoring here, 34 points at halftime. Mahomes' ankle did get banged up a little bit. Seems like he'll be just fine. Left early in the third quarter after the game was out of reach, but he was throwing the ball up and down the field in his first half. 3 total passing touchdowns. Found Kelsey for a score and also 7 catches, 69 yards. And Jerick McKinnon, the veteran running back, also caught 2 passes out of the backfield. So we know Kansas City, there were some concerns, but we know pretty much, like, if Patrick Mahomes is there, they're going to be one of the best teams in the league in a very tough outcome playoff time.
Yeah. As long as Taylor Swift is there, I mean, they were doing very well.
There was a reason why I didn't bring that up, Tony. It's one of those things that's just so ridiculous. Who cares? Especially you, because you with Kelsey and stuff. I'm sure you don't want to hear about it for 1 second.
I mean, I'm happy for the guy. That's nice.
Yeah. But I think it's a waste of breath. Like, what I mean? Like, people date, people, it's like, why are we even bringing it up? What I mean? It's not like
famous people,
earth-shattering. But yeah, what are they going to get married and have 10 kids? Like, come on.
They could, I guess.
The chances of that are, come on. You might as well just bring out the prenup already. Come on, all right?
I mean, I think
that's it.
I think she would probably want the prenup, Brian. I don't know, man.
And then the upset of the day yesterday, 28-16, the Cardinals beating the Cowboys, something that nobody saw coming here. And just an embarrassing loss for Dallas. On the road, and of course, Diggs injuring his ACL in practice doesn't help. But you're going up against Joshua Dobbs, a journeyman quarterback, and a Cardinals team that was figuring to be in line for like another number 1 pick here. And you just, you got off to a bad start. You couldn't recover. It was 21-10 going into the half. You look at the numbers. I mean, Dallas ran for 185 yards, but they gave up 222 yards on the ground against this Cardinals team. I feel like that's embarrassing. And I think it's a loss that they can learn from, get through. But pretty embarrassing stuff for Dallas, huh?
Yeah. Especially after the first couple of weeks of the season. I mean, they were looked at as having some, like the best defense in the league, obviously scoring a lot of points in the first couple of games. This loss, like you said, took a lot of people by surprise. And I think the reason why it was such a gut-wrenching loss is because, you really can't. I mean, you got to knock this. It's just the players. I mean, you've seen the first 2 weeks what the players can do, and they just didn't decide not to do any of that. I don't know if it's just an overlook spot, or maybe they got a little too confident, a little too cocky, and just thought they can come in here and just breeze through week 3. Obviously, they were wrong, and that's like, I mean, that's every coach's like almost like worst nightmare, when your players are just not playing to their potential because of a shit attitude. And that can't happen, dude.
And I think that's what it was, because people point to the Diggs injury, but the whole thing is, I mean, it's the defensive line here is going to be a fault. 222 yards to the Cardinals of all teams, and you run for a 185, and it's not good enough. That's embarrassing. And they're going to play the Patriots this coming week before a highly anticipated matchup with the Niners, but you got to beat the Patriots. The Patriots, this season could really go in the other direction if you don't beat that game against the Patriots. We know how porous their offense is. And yes, they won yesterday, but speaking of porous offenses, you get the point, Tony. But it's a must win against New England next week for Dallas.
Yeah, and I think it will.
I mean, if it's not, that's insane.
Where are we playing?
It's at home for Dallas. So, I mean, it should be
Zeke tribute video.
There should be a Zeke tribute video, yes.
That would make sense to have a Zeke tribute video. Yes.
Something that makes sense. Something that we don't see too much. Something that makes sense. Something that I have to say to me didn't make sense because we had seen how bad Kenny Pickett has been through these first 2 weeks. So I really thought the Raiders were going to take this Sunday Night Football game. Davante Adams going up and down the field, Tony, but just not enough. This Pittsburgh Steelers defense, 3 interceptions, sacking Jimmy Garoppolo 4 times, and they win here 23-18 to go to 2-1. It's 2 straight wins after that embarrassing opening loss to the 49ers. Kenny Pickett actually played well, 16-28, 235, 2 scores. And he found George Pickens for 4 receptions, 75 yards, had a 72-yard touchdown pass to Calvin Austin. They ran the ball for over 100 yards. Obviously, we mentioned the interceptions. And, after getting gashed on the ground through the first couple of games here, limited Josh Jacobs in this rushing attack to only 69 yards rushing. I guess my question to you is this Pittsburgh Steelers team maybe better than we think? Or do you think it kind of just has to do more with McDaniels, the dysfunction of the Las Vegas Raiders?
I think a little bit of both. Mike Tomlinson.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Mike Tomlin, dude.
Yeah.
Obviously,
good coach.
He's a great coach, dude. What is he, like the Steelers? Like, what they've had like 5 coaches in the history of their team or something ridiculous like that.
Well, it's Cowher, Tomlin, and who was the first guy? That's gonna bother me. Why can't I think of who? It's 3 coaches since like 1970.
Like
Chuck
Noll. So yeah, again, like I said, Tomlin.
Wait, go to list of. Sorry, not to
like
just go to
thing?
list of.
Oh wait, sorry.
Right, Wikipedia that, yeah. Because I wasn't sure if it's since 1970. Okay, so it's since 1970, but overall, how many has there been? 16. But yeah, right, because Noll
16 since 33.
69.
69, yeah.
Yeah, so 3 coaches since 1969. That's
pretty crazy, dude.
All good records, obviously.
Yeah,
all won Super Bowls.
All won Super Bowls, all great records. Like I said, I think Mike Tomlin here is a great coach. They have a great atmosphere in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
I know people are tight at Pickett now, but I feel like he still has a good amount of support.
Right.
And obviously, like you mentioned, the drama and the controversy over there for the Raiders.
I just feel like McDaniel sucks,
dude. And then on top of that, Jimmy Garoppolo also kind of sucks, dude. Like he's another guy who just looks scared out there sometimes.
But why would he be a Hall of Famer for the Jets, though? It just seems like he would be, Tony.
Stop, dude.
Just because
he's not going to be a Hall of Famer for the Jets. He's not going to be a Hall of Famer at all, dude.
I say trade deadline. If we're hovering around 500, Garoppolo, Davante Adams, whatever it takes, Rodgers will be allowed to reunite with them next year.
Whatever it takes, dude. Yes.
But the Garoppolo contract, Adams is just unbelievable, though.
Adams is great, dude. He was making some ridiculous catches last night, too.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Rodgers would love to be reunited with him and vice versa. But I mean, what do you like? Like, you gotta you don't want to give up too much here. Like, you gotta be very careful.
Yeah, no, maybe actually no. They would have been able to get Adams during this season if Rodgers was healthy, but he's not. They're not going to probably. But unless they end up trading him somewhere else, I don't know. The Raiders. I mean, we'll see what happens against the Chargers. But if things got out of hand, you could see them making a couple moves. The Steelers get the Texans, and then they're home to the Ravens. After that, which is one of the best, rivalries in the NFL. There, Steelers Ravens. Man. Steelers, thank God they're okay. They had to make an emergency landing in Kansas City overnight.
Oil pressure
or whatever. But thank God they're okay there. But, winnable game at the Texans. I know we saw them beat the Jags. But I think the whole thing moving forward is the defense will be better than they were playing in the first couple games. And if they could limit Pickett's mistakes, let TJ Watt go to work, he had 2 sacks last night. I think, this could be a competitive Pittsburgh Steelers team like it always is. That there's a reason that Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season.
Yes. But I think, Pickett's got to
But again, it would be nice to have him on the Jets. He's not any good, relative, but.
So why do you want him, dude?
Just because I guess there's just a difference between not being that great and just being alarmingly bad, I guess is what it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think this is a 9-10 win team.
Yeah.
I think the streak continues.
10-7.
And yeah, I mean, I think they're going to beat the Texans. The Ravens game, I wouldn't be surprised if they beat the Ravens. Do you think Harbaugh needs to go, or is it more on Lamar?
Harbaugh.
No, I said it fine. I said Harbaugh.
No, yeah, you did. Yes, you did, Brian.
Why did you say it like I didn't?
Because that's just how we said it. I don't know. I just said it, dude. I don't know. I just feel like, maybe he needs to go, dude. And Lamar needs to go at that point too. Didn't Lamar want to be traded at some point?
Because they didn't give him the contract, but then they did.
Oh God, he sucks.
Yeah,
he's not good, bro.
Yeah, I know.
So I don't know. I think they both need to go. Change of scenery for Baltimore. I feel like that.
So Browns winning the division or no?
Yeah,
which is kind of crazy.
Again, if Watson does continue to progress throughout the season, he's going to be what Lamar should be. Really,
and Amari Cooper.
Yeah,
grade A wide receiver.
And then, dude, Myles Garrett had fucking 4 sacks. This week. He's gonna be killing it, dude.
So that'll be interesting to monitor for sure.
Defense.
But and then you think long season for Vegas?
Yeah, dude.
Adams traded or no?
They're probably gonna have to, right? I guess
he just got to be so pissed because he went there. I know he said he always wanted to be a Raider, but
right.
He really went there for
Derek Carr. Yeah, I know. It's just a shame.
Yeah.
Maybe New Orleans.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see that's for sure. We do have another doubleheader to look forward to tonight between ABC and ESPN. The first one at 7:15, we're going to get the Eagles at the Buccaneers. So the Eagles coming into this one, 5-point road favorites. And really, up to this point, I think it's safe to say everyone's been pretty impressed with what the Bucs have been able to do. Expected to have a long season. You think about the weakness of head coach with Todd Bowles, the uncertainty of Baker Mayfield, the uncertainty about Mike Evans with his contract. But they've looked pretty good. We saw them, beat Minnesota week 1 and then, beat the Bears last week by 10. And on the Eagles side of things, they beat New England week 1, beat Minnesota in week 2, both 1-possession games. Eagles get, laying the 5 right now, total set at 44. What are you anticipating heading into this one?
I think pretty high scoring. But I think maybe late play by the Bucs. And I'm thinking Baker Mayfield throws for 400 yards.
Evans all day.
Like a 2 receiving touchdowns.
Keenan Allen performance.
Baker even maybe runs one in on his own. Who knows? And I just think it's gonna be just Baker in the pocket, poised, doesn't need to run, will be well protected. Basically look like when Tom Brady was the quarterback. Just chilling, slinging the ball across the middle of the field, no issues. Eagles, score a little bit too here and there, but give me the Bucs. I don't know, 35-28.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's just crazy how quick that narrative with them has changed.
So different. I know. Ridiculous.
And all right, so you're gonna go Bucs plus 5.
Yes. Are you taking the Eagles?
No, I actually agree with you. But we'll just put this in anyway. And by the way, it's 55-47, getting to the end of the line here, Tony. So it looks like I will finally win another pick segment again, barring a complete collapse, which is definitely possible. But the kind of like going along the lines of what you said, I really do think there's going to be some offense here. We know about the star power of this Eagles offense, with Devontae Smith and with AJ Brown, what Jalen Hurts does. But I've been impressed with the Bucs, and I think we all just kind of were like, well, just without Brady. But they kept a lot of guys. We just talked about Mike Evans. I mean, if you could find a way to get him the ball, you also have Chris Godwin. I think you give yourself a chance here. So what I'm going to do, actually, it's the same play because we always go by the spread here. So I do like the Bucs +5. I'm going to say the Eagles win by 3, but it's a close game. Maybe Josh Elliott, last second field goal from 41 yards. But we're going to say Eagles here 34-31. So very exciting, high flying game. In the Bucs and Baker, showing that they can compete. And it's going to be interesting storyline to see if they have a chance possibly down the road here to win this division. But we'll have to see. And like I said, fortunately, we get 2 games tonight. So the late one, the one that Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are going to call, is going to be between the Rams and the Bengals. Bengals obviously have not looked good. Rams have surprised, 1-1 winning that opening game against Seattle before falling to San Francisco last week. But the whole thing here is Joe Burrow. They said he re-injured the calf last week. Did take first team snaps in Sunday's walkthrough. You haven't seen anything further on this in terms of him playing or not?
Negative.
I just wanted to do, because obviously, that is, makes a huge difference. Let's see what we got here. The Twitter world, where are you? May take the decision about quarterback Joe Burrow's game status up near game time. So
not now.
Yeah. So that is tough. And it's weird because we know this Bengals team is talented, Tony. But I just feel like even if he does play, I feel like he's going to be limited. I feel like the Rams defense hasn't looked bad in this Rams passing attack. Stafford's elbows healthy, and then Puka Nacua has been a revelation so far this season. So I think Burrow or no Burrow, I think the Rams are going to win this football game. Cincinnati laying the 3. I'll take the Rams +3 and a little less scoring in this one. I'm going to say Rams 24-21.
All right, I'll take the Bengals then.
Laying the -3.
I'll take the Bengals laying the -3. Why not? I think Joe Burrow does gut this one out, does play, and settles the fan base of Cincinnati. Lets the people know, hey, we're at home. I got this. Let's go. Vintage Burrow. Mirroring what Baker Mayfield's going to be doing, just an hour earlier than him, probably took 300 yards through the air, a couple touchdown passes, dude. And, I know it's going to be questionable with the calf. But, we've seen Stafford make some mistakes in the past too. So maybe the Rams help him out that way. But yeah, give me the Bengals. Why not? Pat McAfee probably thinks.
I was just about to say, you must have been pissed seeing his face right there,
dude. I fucking what's his deal, bro? So bad, dude.
Wait, what about the cameras though?
Oh my god, it's so stupid. It's a fucking circus show over there.
Oh man, but no, I really do like Joe Burrow, so I do hope the Bengals turn around. It just seems like potentially, it might not be their year. Only time will tell. But looking forward to watching those games. Before we wrap it up here, let's catch up on the comments. I know we're like 2 hours behind.
Yeah.
My fault.
That's okay, dude. Danny,
it was.
Bernie says nobody comes back this year in terms of Aaron Rodgers.
That was an hour
ago. Jay Bird, an hour ago, asking why do I hate my mom? I don't hate my mother. She wants to go to Cooperstown, I guess, so a weekend. I'll call my mother. Renee saying, let's go. My Steelers.
Good win last night, Renee. Good win. Impressive.
Josh saying
2-1
hello
start.
to Renee. Bernie saying Russell Wilson to the Jets. Faces. Renee saying hi to Josh. Josh B says Russell Wilson is definitely better than Zach Wilson.
But we don't want to be stuck with his contract.
You do not want him. Stop.
If it was a one-year deal, I would
This
love
is ridiculous.
If it was a one-year deal,
No, you would not.
So
dude.
pumped up. So pumped
and
up.
Ryan says, "Hey, Renee, missed you
Actually,
yesterday."
maybe we should just do it.
And then Birdie says, "Ass whooping probably for Miami, 56 fantasy points.
Let's go."
Josh B says Buffalo will be fine.
He thinks, but he doesn't know.
He put the period there too to really just accentuate how he thinks it. Steve, shout out to the chef saying, "Morning, y'all. Vikings suck. Take Cousins, please." And he says, "Bleep the Packers." He says, "Send Zach to Serbia, dude."
And we want Cousins.
We do want, I guess. Cousins is statistically the best QB in the league. We're gladly take him off your hands.
Makes the throws.
Zach, dude. He says, "More than happy to take Kirk off your hands. Believe that, LOL." And he says, "Rex is an idiot. Stop it."
Oh, complete idiot.
My mother asking again, Cooperstown, Anthony, ? I'll call you.
Go to the Hall.
Go to the Hall of Fame, dude. Steve says, "Thanks, guys. Great meeting y'all. And so tired of Kirk Cousins' apologists that our QB can't be reliable in big moments." He really can't be reliable in big moments.
No.
Lonnie says, "Big stepper with the salute." Steve says, "Josh, we all know Rex Ryan wants to be the Jets head coach again. I support the move," he says.
Yeah.
And then he says New York Rangers are only saving grace this year. My mother's saying New York needs to purge their teams.
Rangers, though. Let's go. I'm holding the Rangers accountable. Have a season. Like I don't want it. Nothing. Like just start out on fire and let's just go from there. And let's go, Tony.
Yes, let's go, dude. No jinxes here.
Dempsey's, Tony.
The Lonnie says the divorce, Tony. And Matthew says have a divorce.
There's no way Swift and Kelsey can hold it down. Come on.
I don't know,
no
dude.
Way.
I don't know. She seems happy.
No way.
He's a total prick. So yeah, dude. Tay-Tay's next album about to be lit with Football Reference. No, literally, she's in it to make the album after they break up. We all
Tony,
know that. Derek Ho's Corner.
Derek Ho, how are you?
There. My mother says, "Glad Dallas is embarrassed." Alfred here says, "Rams looking great."
Very true.
Rookies. Kyron Williams coming in hot.
The running back.
He's on the Rams train there for tonight. But I'm stoked, dude.
McVay's a good coach. They deserve credit for retooling that team. Yes, he's a good coach. He won a Super Bowl. Like, what are you pointing to that he's not?
Because, what have you done for me lately, dude?
Tony, this is just like one of those things. Sean McVay, coach of the Jets, statue before he even coaches one game.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. No, why would he have a statue before he coaches one game? That's
before he coaches.
Before. No, they would not make a statue for him just for coming to the team.
I just don't think you understand, like to the level of the bareness.
So, do you think Salah's a bad coach? You think Salah's a bad coach?
I mean, he's not a great coach,
right?
You know what I mean? So
and Hackett, totally,
Hackett,
without Rodgers, he's fucking.
There's a reason. There's a reason why last year was so bad. Okay, with the Broncos, with Hackett, there's just no innovation, and it's just like I feel like to compare it, it reminds me of the Yankees front office. That's what it is. The Brian Cashman motto of just not reinventing yourself, thinking you know everything. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah. All right, dude.
Yeah. So
no, I totally agree. The coaching, I said it 2 weeks ago. Coaching, huge problem.
Huge problem. So hopefully they sign a quarterback like in 5 minutes. I would really like to see that, but we'll see. But wow, the show just absolutely flew by. So much football to talk about.
I know.
Hopefully we get some great games tonight. And again, thank you everybody who was involved with the tailgate yesterday. Time of a lifetime yesterday.
Or in Mystic, right in Mystic Village there.
Meeting everybody, and the interviews, the food, the camaraderie, Tony. It was just an unbelievable day. Can't wait for many more of those in the future. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, dude.
Once again, shout out to the company. And we really like to thank everybody for tuning in today, continuing to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives on the YouTube page, Tony, Michael, Renee, and Kasum, merch, downtimetv.com. Want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games. Let's go Yankees.
Let's go, man.
We will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.